Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. We're going to be talking about something that I think affects a lot of us, and that is dealing with anxiety. And for this one, we are looking at a piece from a website called Believe Him, and the article is titled, How to Come Out of Anxieties, Worries, and the Fear? Question mark. So I think we can all relate to this topic.
But before going to the full video, looking to boost your online security and streamline your work? Meet GoLogin, the ultimate tool for managing multiple accounts effortlessly. GoLogin is the best browser for multi-accounting. With GoLogin, you can protect your privacy and handle tasks like digital marketing, data collection, and testing in secure, isolated browser environments. Whether you're working remotely, managing multiple social media profiles, or running ad campaigns, GoLogin has you covered. So why wait? Take control of your online presence and sign up for GoLogin today. Experience seamless browsing with safety and ease. Now, back to the topic.
Something out there that cares.
It's a pretty comforting thought, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious.
For sure. It actually uses some really interesting language to describe this presence. It talks about it being compassionate, gracious, slow to anger.
It's interesting how those words can be so powerful. Like when you're feeling really anxious, those qualities can offer a sense of peace almost.
Absolutely. And it really emphasizes this idea that the care is unconditional. Like no matter what you've done or how distant you might feel, you're still worthy of love and support.
It's like having a safety net, even when you feel like you're free falling.
Yeah, and it even compares it to a mother's love for her child, which is such a powerful image.
It really is. It makes you think. If you could truly grasp that sense of unwavering love, how would that change how you approach your anxieties?
That's such a good question. And the article actually includes some Bible verses that kind of echo this sentiment of unconditional love.
I always find it fascinating how certain words or phrases can evoke such strong emotional responses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious, for you as a listener, what feelings come up for you when you hear those verses about God's love?
Yeah, think about that for a second. Because even if you don't necessarily subscribe to any specific faith, the idea of having that source of unconditional love and support, whatever form that takes for you, can be incredibly powerful when you're dealing with things like anxiety. That feeling that you're not alone in your struggles can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And that kind of leads us into the second step, which is accept God has the power to change your life situation.
Okay, so this is getting into some pretty big stuff now.
Yeah, this part really focuses on God's power, specifically his power to change things that we might feel are impossible.
Well, that's certainly relevant when it comes to anxiety, right?
Yeah.
It often makes us feel trapped, like we're stuck and there's no way out.
Exactly. And the article even uses this really strong statement. It says, what is not possible for you is possible for God.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
It is. But I think it speaks to that deep human need to believe that even in the face of overwhelming odds, something can change.
Right, like there's hope, even when things seem impossible. And to illustrate this point, the article actually uses some pretty dramatic examples.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Well, it talks about things like raising Lazarus from the dead, healing the sick, even calming a storm at sea.
Wow, those are some serious miracles.
Right.
But it's interesting how those stories, whether you take them literally or metaphorically, they tap into that sense of awe and possibility.
It's like anything is possible.
Exactly. Like even when things seem dire, there's a potential for something beyond our understanding to step in and intervene.
But how do we connect those grand, almost mythical examples
Yeah,
to like the everyday anxieties we wrestle with?
that's a good question.
Like how does God changing a situation translate to, say, a panic attack at work or the chronic worry of financial strain?
Well, that's where I think the article gets really interesting, because it goes beyond those big biblical narratives. And it actually shares a personal testimony from the author about experiencing this kind of divine intervention firsthand.
So it grounds those larger-than-life examples in a more relatable human experience.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder if the article is suggesting that simply believing in this power, believing in the possibility of change, could be a source of comfort and strength in itself.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Because even if the change isn't always immediate or as dramatic as parting the Red Sea, the belief itself can offer a shift in perspective.
Right.
It can give you that glimmer of hope in the midst of the storm. And sometimes that's all it takes to start loosening anxiety's grip.
It feels like we're building up to something here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
All this talk about God's care and power leads us to the third and final step in the article, Believe God can bring you out of anxiety, worries, and fear. So this is where it all comes together, right? This is where the rubber meets the road. The article really emphasizes the power of belief itself here.
It's interesting, though, because it's not just about believing in something. It's about having a specific kind of faith.
So it's not enough to just believe that there's a higher power out there.
Right. It's about believing in God specifically, believing in his existence, but also, and maybe more importantly, believing in his willingness to help.
Those who seek him out.
Exactly. It's about trusting that there's a force out there that wants to see us free from anxiety.
And I think the article uses some really powerful imagery to drive this point home.
Like what?
Well, it talks about stories like Jesus healing the blind man
Oh, right.
in moving mountains through faith.
Those are some pretty big feats.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But I think the point is, even if you don't take those stories literally, they speak to the potential of unwavering belief to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles.
So it's like the article is asking us to consider, what if the key to overcoming anxiety isn't about external interventions or quick fixes, but about the strength of our own belief?
It's a really powerful concept.
It is, and it ties back to what we were talking about earlier about that sense of unwavering love and support.
Right, like having that safety net can give us the strength and resilience to face our fears.
Exactly.
And the article doesn't just leave us with these kind of abstract ideas either. It actually ends with a beautiful prayer that encourages us to surrender our worries and fears, to trust in God's plan.
It's like a practical way to put these concepts into action.
Exactly. And that's really what we hope you take away from this deep dive. It's not just about presenting information, but about empowering you, the listener, to explore how these ideas might resonate with your own experience.
To find what works for you.
Exactly. So we encourage you to check out the full article and see what speaks to you, what sparks a sense of hope or understanding in your own journey with anxiety.
Everyone's journey is different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.